Shalom. All praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Hashem, Yahushai, Hashem, Chavodash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone who were pushing this 100% truth of the gospel, waking up and sealing the elect of the nation of Israel through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Hashem, Yahushai. And salutations to all the sincere Akimadi that are pushing this gospel in all righteousness and in all sincerity, risking your lives and your freedom to do so. Alright, so I'm back here with another video, and what I want to go into, since the spirit is still on me a little bit, just a little bit of Christian literature that I was looking at, and it's funny because in the previous video that I just did, I was going into confirmation bias. Alright, and this isn't going to be on a part 2 or just a few words on that anymore. That lesson is done. Alright, what I'm going to go into is something else, because here in this Nigeria, what is 50% Christian, 50% Muslim, things are happening, but that's beside the point. Alright, what I wanted to focus on was this Christian literature that I was that I was looking at, that I was reading, and it was going into the book of Deuteronomy, the 14th ppchapter, and that's even what actually got me interested in it. Alright, because if you read the book of Deuteronomy, the 14th chapter, it's going into the dietary laws. Alright, so I wanted to see what these Christians have to say about that. So this is the book. So I'll start by reading the book of Deuteronomy 14, and I'll start from verse 3, since I don't want to really, I don't really want to make it so long. So Deuteronomy 14 verse 3: Thou shalt not eat any abominable thing. These are the beasts which ye shall eat: the ox, the sheep, the goat, the hart, and the roebuck, and the fallow deer, and the wild goat, and the pygarg, and the wild ox, and the camois, and every beast that parteth the hoof, and cleaveth the cleft in two claws, and cheweth the cord among the beasts that ye shall eat. Nevertheless, these ye shall not eat: of them that chew the cord, or of them that divide the cloven hoof, as the camels, and the hare, and the coney, for they chew the cord, but divide not the hoof. Therefore they are unclean unto you. And the swine, because it divideth the hoof, yet cheweth not the cord, it is unclean unto you. Ye shall not eat of their flesh, nor touch their dead carcass. These ye shall eat of all that are in the waters: all that have fins and scales ye shall ye eat. And whatsoever hath not fins and scales ye may not eat, it is unclean unto you. Of all clean birds ye shall eat, but these are they which ye shall not eat: the eagle, and the ossifrage, and the osprey, and the glede, and the kite, and the vulture after his kind, and every raven after his kind, and the owl, and the night hawk, and the cuckoo, and the hawk after his kind, the little owl, and the great owl, and the swan, the pelican, and the gear eagle, and the cormorant. Alright, that's basically going into the animals they are allowed to eat and they are not allowed to eat, and the scriptures make it very, very clear. Alright, going into both the land animals, the flying animals, and the fishes. Okay, any fish that doesn't have fins or scales, so that's your catfish, your shellfish, and the like. And we always go into this, because Jake loves that unclean meat, man. Chitlins, soul food, pork, crayfish, crawfish here in Nigeria. When Jake loves to eat that unclean food. Alright, catfish and the like. But that's going on, that's against the scriptures. So this precept was actually read, alright, by these Christians. Okay, it was in that literature, it was in that book that I was reading. They brought it out word for word. Okay, in fact, you have, it was part of the what I'm looking for, part of the what I'm looking for, part of the reading, or I've forgotten the exact term that they use for it. It was the opposite of voluntary. And they made it required, relevant reading, that you have to read it before you can actually read and you can actually read the actual book. Okay, and basically what the breakdown was, which is actually what surprised me, this is how plantation Christianity doesn't have the truth. So instead of addressing what Deuteronomy, the 14th chapter, going into it, talking about the unclean food, because what I thought these Christians are going to do was go to, the book of Acts. I believe that Act 10th chapter, where the apostle, where the apostle Paul saw that road that was filled with all kinds of beasts, both clean and unclean, and the Most High said that you should kill and eat. But what they actually did was go into something completely different. They're talking about how, even though we are in the world, or not of the world anymore, that as children of God, that we have to be completely different from all the other people that are on the earth. Wait a minute, what does that? Well, I was thinking, wait a minute, what does that have to do with, the dietary law that's written right here? What to eat and what is clean and what is not clean. And this is basically what these plantation Christians do. All right, this is proof of what they do. This is a reminder of how these people think. They completely ignore scripture. They change the topic, they change the subject. That's what they completely did. They completely flipped the subject on its head, and that's why so many people are leaving the Christian church, because they understand that the truth is not in there. Because they completely ignore so many parts of the Bible, and even many Christians know about this. They know that their pastors don't really go into these scriptures. All right, they know that our pastors don't ignore so much out of so much of the actual scriptures. All for what they are all for that, their false doctrine. Trying to say it right. All for their false doctrine. All right, but we already know. So let me get this precept real quick. So I can try to find this. That's actually the I wanted to bring out. Okay, here it is. Isaiah chapter 6, and I'll start from verse 9. Isaiah 6, verse 8. Also, I heard the voice of Yahweh saying, Whom shall I send, and who will go for us? Then said I, Here am I, send me. And he said, Go and tell these people, Hear ye indeed, but understand not, and see ye indeed, but perceive not. And that's right. Because these people actually, these Christians, they talk about how they've read the entire scripture, Genesis to Revelation, you know, but they don't understand what's actually in it. They can quote the scriptures, quote it word for word. You ask them to, you give them a random precept, and they'll be able to bring it out and say exactly what is in it, but they don't even understand what they are reading. All right. So here indeed, that's why they hear the scriptures, but they don't understand the scriptures. See ye indeed, but perceive not. They can't understand anything that they are actually reading, because the Most High has put that stumbling block on them. And of course, the veil of confusion is on them, because they are still in these churches. They are still following wacky-tacky Christianity. So this is the book of Isaiah 6, verse 10, and it reads, Make the hearts of these people fat, and make their ears heavy, and shut their eyes, lest they see with their eyes, and hear with their ears, and understand with their hearts, and convert and be healed. And that's right, because there's no actual understanding in these churches, man. There's no knowledge in these churches. That's why we call it. They are basically whole houses, whole houses filled with tables of vomit. All right, it's a cemetery. Dead men's bones everywhere. That's basically what these churches are. And you have to have that spiritual eye to see them. That's why, brothers, that's why, brothers, when you come into this thing, man, the spirit doesn't even allow you to go into these churches, because that's basically what you should be picturing when you see these church buildings. Like I always mention, I have a lot of them are surrounding me, every single evening, especially on Sundays, man, complete blasting, they'll blast. Well, anyhow, that's beside the point. What we're focusing on is the madness and the folly of these Christians, man. Because that was just like a reminder to me that, yeah, this is why I left these people, man. This is why, this is how you know that they don't actually have the truth, because they don't even have because they can't even break down scripture right. This isn't even prophecy or anything. It's plain as hell. It's plain as hell in the scriptures. Don't eat this, don't eat that. They don't even address it. They completely ignore it, and then jump to the New Testament. Because that's how these Christians work. Oh, that's the Old Testament. It doesn't matter anymore. But yeah, they'll jump to the New Testament, and in the New Testament you see the apostles and the men quoting the scriptures. Yahweh Shai talking about how he was here to fulfill the law, fulfill the prophet, the words of the prophets of old. All right, because how did the people know that the Messiah was coming? How the apostle John started the John the Baptist knew that he was the one that was supposed to be in the wilderness preparing the way for our Shai, because of the prophecies of Isaiah, because of the prophecies of Malachi. All right, I already said anyway. How did Yahweh Shai, how did Yahweh Shai and the disciples know that? How did the people and disciples know who Yahweh Shai was? Because of the prophecies of the men of the Old Testament. Okay, all these things, it's connected. The whole book is connected. But the reason why these Christians always say that is because they know that the Old Testament completely condemns them, and the New Testament is written in codes, okay, written with dark sayings that they are too, unlearned to understand. Book of Isaiah, the 28th chapter, and I'm actually going to go to that right now. The vision has been sealed in a book, and these Christians don't have, the key to open that book, because that key is Yahweh Shai. Alright, Yahweh Shai is not in these churches. When the spirit of Yahweh Shai, the spirit of prophecy, which is why the apostles always talk about how, if you want to confuse a Christian, if you want to confound them, go into prophecy. Plain and simple. Alright, so let me bring that out. So like, this is actually pretty good. I want to read this part first. I'll read this first. So I'll start from here. So this is the book of Isaiah 28 verse 7. But they have also erred through wine, and through strong drink are out of the way. The priests and the prophets have erred through strong drink. They are swallowed up of wine. They are out of the way through strong drink. They err in vision. They stumble in judgment. That's basically what that was. Is stumbling in judgment. Okay, because you read a precept and then you completely ignore what was written in it, and you start to break down something and start to talk about a completely different topic, and then you continue on. For all tables are full of vomit and filthiness, so that there is no place clean. And that's basically what I wanted to get from that. But anyway, let me get the actual episode I was looking for. So this book of Isaiah 29 verse 11, and it reads, and the vision of all is become unto you as the words of a book that is sealed, which men deliver to one that is learned, saying, read this, I pray thee. And he saith, I cannot, for it is sealed. And the book is delivered to him that is not learned, saying, read this, I pray thee. And he saith, I am not learned. And from verse 13 now. Wherefore Yahweh said, for as much as these people draw near me with their mouth, and with their lips do honor me, but have removed their heart far from me, and their fear toward me is taught by the precepts of men. Alright? And this basically because the spirit is not dealing with them. That's why you see people bringing out these wayward ass doctrines. They're speaking about things that make completely no sense, even in Israel, even in this truth. Because the spirit of Yahweh Shai is not working, is not with them, and in order to keep their followers, in order to bring out something, that's when they start to stumble and make up all these ridiculous doctrines, man. And you start to see them waxing worse and worse. It's the same thing with and the prime example of that is what exactly Christianity, But you still have men out here that think that this is the way that we the Hebrew Israelites should come back to that. Like vocab, for example, man. You can't expect me to come back to a doctrine or a philosophy or even a religion that doesn't even understand the book it claims to have stemmed from, okay, to the point of completely ignoring scriptures, going into dietary law and talking about something different, talking about how we are new creatures in, they use that JC, talking about how we are not of the world but we are in the world. What does that have to do with dietary laws? But anyway, just wanted to rant a little bit about that, So let me just end it right there. So with that, let's give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'asham Yahwashai, Ba'asham Rachak Wadash, Wa Abad Babal, and through the Spirit of you, Akamayu Akwas, were edified. Shalom.